Welcome back to Black Alumni Week 2020. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and this week. We really had to pivot and change it up because we are unable to be in person together, but this was the next best thing, and I thank you guys for joining us. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Addie Buckley Burnell. Addie Buckley Burnell is the Associate Director of the Career Development in the University Career Center. She has been assisting Auburn students and graduates for going on 8 years now in all aspects of career planning and in the job search. In addition to her professional experience assisting those in their careers, Addie also graduated with her master's degree during the recession and successfully navigated her job search. She is now going to present on some resources for alums that are offered to graduates up to 5 years out. And so thank you so much for joining us, Addie, and take it away.
Thank you so much, Erin. And like I've had to do for all of my presentations lately, please ignore any background noise that you may hear. I have children and animals that just never seem to cease to need attention as soon as I am actually on. So heads up to that and just pretend like you don't hear any of the screaming in the other room. So my name is Addie Buckley Burnell. I'm happy to be here with you all today and wishing, like all of you, that we were in person, but it's nice that we can all do this from the comfort of our homes too. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the amazing resources that you have available to you, even as alum. And so one of the things that I think is a hidden gem about the University Career Center is that we are a service that stays with you. We know that the minute that you graduate does not mean that you are the culmination of your journey and that you have reached the pinnacle of your success. We want to help you be successful after you transition from Auburn. And so that is what we are here to do. I have my contact information on this front slide. There are handouts available if anyone would like them. Essentially, reach out if you need anything, but you're going to see a ton of resources on our website. We will work with you up to 5 years out, and by with you, I mean we are willing to meet with you. You have access to all of our resources and services. Now, after 5 years, you still have access to all of our resources. We just don't have the manpower to necessarily meet with alumni past that point. We are a smaller staff, so we have a ton of great resources that you don't lose any kind of connection to. You can always come back and use them. And if at any point you find that your access information, your passwords, your usernames don't work anymore, not a problem. All you have to do is contact us and we're happy to re-up you. We are over in Mary Martin Hall. I should say we are there. I'm not there currently, but we are over in Mary Martin Hall. And, that's the first building, or one of the first buildings on campus. It's the first library from our campus. And I like just for everybody to be aware that it has never received the benefit of getting an elevator. And so if you are ever in need of our in-person services and can't make it up 3 flights of stairs, you only need to give us a call and we're happy to meet you elsewhere or via Zoom. So we're doing a lot of our services right now via Zoom, which has made us more accessible now, truthfully, than we've ever been before, which is exciting for us. We, of course, work with a appointment system basis, but we also have drop-ins. And so if you find yourself needing assistance and it's between the hours of 10 and 3, all you need to do is go through our homepage. There's a drop-in link, and you'll be connected instantly with someone via Zoom to get some assistance. And so it has never been easier for you to get this kind of assistance. We've always had drop-ins, but you had to be there in person. And so it's kind of nice that we have this available to us now. And I'm hoping that this is something that will stay an option at the very least moving forward. All right, now our services work with everything career related. All right, so that means when you guys first stepped foot on campus for Camp War Eagle, for some of you it may have felt much longer ago than for others, the minute you step foot on campus until 5 years after you graduate, we are happy to help you with anything career related. All right, so for some of our students that really hits on their career assessment, choosing a major. For some of you, it may be trying to figure out a second career field. It may be trying to figure out another path that you have an option to. We, of course, help with everything with resume writing and cover letters, CVs, job search materials and techniques, interview skills, graduate school material. We also work with students and alumni with things like negotiation help. So all of these different things we can help you with. It's a very valuable service to our students, but I think it's even more valuable to our alumni because of the fact that you guys know that you need these different kinds of assistance, this different kind of, help along the way. It never goes away. It's not as though you write a resume once and you never need to know how to do that again. This is stuff that you constantly are going to be needing, and you realize that much more than students tend to. Students tend to come to us when they need our help, and it tends to be more their senior year. And as you know, that is stuff that should be built upon. That is stuff that needs to be worked on over time. Our services would range from $80 to $200 an hour outside in the general sector. And so for that reason, it's a very valuable resource that I encourage you all to take advantage of, since it can be very expensive. The process of choosing a career field and a major, the major part, I'm assuming you guys have done with that part. But the process of choosing a career, or the career progression over your life, is a progression over life. And I want you to realize that we see it that way. This is what we look at as far as our career decision-making model. As you see here, there is no beginning and no end. We are constantly adapting, constantly evaluating. The one central element is that we are always needing to reflect back on where we thrive. And so throughout your career, throughout your job searches, throughout your progression through life, I encourage you all to continuously reflect on what you enjoy. What do you enjoy doing? What do you do well? These are things that may stay consistent over time or may change. We are adapting adults. We will all find new things that kind of reinvigorate us. And be thinking about that as you're moving forward. It's an ever-changing process that is not a one-size-fits-all, and it doesn't stay stagnant. It's constantly moving, constantly evaluating. So if we're looking at that thrive tendency, we need to constantly be exploring what's out there. What are our options? What else is out there? What is available now that didn't exist 6 months ago, that didn't exist a year ago? Always be engaging in activities to grow as a professional. And that means engage in professional development, engage in community service, engage in additional education, so that you're always learning something new and making yourself stay marketable. The people who are not marketable 5 years from now are the people who stay stagnant and don't change. And so we need to constantly be engaging in activities that will not only expose us to new skills, new abilities, but also expose us to new opportunities. Preparing for that. When you're in a job, your job is also to be constantly looking for that next step. Even if you don't want to leave your job, always be seeing what else is out there. What else is an opportunity if you want to be growing within your organization or elsewhere? Because the ability to adapt has become more important now than ever. At one point, it was based off of mass layoffs. At many points, it's been based off of mass layoffs. Right now, it's more based off of COVID and layoffs based on COVID and adjusting to a new life pre, post, and during COVID, right? And so there are elements of our lives that are going to impact our career field that we plan for. It may be that you've planned a family, you're planning a move, but there's also pieces that come into that decision that are not up to us. And always being able to adapt to that new environment means that we need to be making short-term goals for ourselves that are adjustable. So it's no longer that long-term goal that I'm going to reach that pinnacle, it will never deviate. It's making short-term goals that can adjust over time. Because of that, we know that we are always in the market and we are always looking for new ways of understanding ourselves and what's out there. We do involve assessments in our office. We offer them. A couple of them you guys could be taking now. So honestly, Focus 2 is one that probably is not going to be as useful to you guys right now, but it may be if you're looking to fully change. Focus 2 is a self-guided assessment tool, career planning tool, that allows for you to take mini assessments in the system to then explore career fields that align. All right, so looking at careers that align with your interests, your values, your personality, and your skills, and helping you explore that without needing any additional assistance. It's a good starting point, and you can access that freely on our website. type focus looks at your personality type. This is aligned with the Myers-Briggs type inventory, or MBTI. I encourage everyone to gain a better understanding of how they work effectively. These are things that we don't always think about for ourselves, and this assessment is free for you to take. It shows you what your most natural tendencies in work and what kind of environment allows for that. It goes a few steps further though, because it will actually show you techniques on how to use that in branding yourself. It'll show you how to use that in conflict or in the workplace so that you can better understand how to communicate with others around you or persuade others around you. Understanding how you're persuaded, how you make decisions, how you operate gives you better perspective on how others operate. And that's going to be helpful to you in the workplace, but also in the job search and interviewing. There's lots of great techniques that can be used for that. So play with that a little bit. You have access to that on our website as well. And I'll show you where all of these are located in just a few minutes. Now, there are 2 assessments that we charge for. Because they take, we get charged per assessment. It takes an interpretation session. And so there is a charge for strong interest inventory and Clifton strengths. If you're interested in taking them, just contact me and we'll get you arranged. But strong interest inventory is helping you explore where your interests lie, and then showing you how closely aligned your likes and dislikes are to whether men or women, depending on how you actually identify in the assessment. How closely aligned your interests are to working professionals who enjoy what they do in 130 career fields. So it ends up being a 14-page report that has lots of bar graphs, lots of information that can be incredibly helpful in exploring additional opportunities past what you may have already thought about. Clifton Strengths is an assessment that used to be called Strengths Quest, also is called Strengths Finder. They've done some rebranding over the years, and it's now called Clifton Strengths. But you may be more familiar with it with the strengths elements with the other titles. Clifton Strengths is based off of positive psychology and the idea that if you know where your strength areas lie and invest your time and resources into building those strengths, you are more likely to be successful in your outcomes. The concept is opposite of failure or the fixing your faults. It's all based off of things that you do well and how you can improve upon those moving forward. So it's a cool way of understanding some real marketable terminology and ways for you to brand and market yourself successfully. So it's a cool assessment that we can help you in exploring as well. So these are things that are useful for those of you who are looking for that next opportunity, looking for maybe making a change based off of where you landed to begin with, or to see what careers may have really, fit along with your major that you have already, you already have your degree in. We do have some additional resources for that as well. The more you understand your options with your major, the better your chances are going to be. And so we have a resource called What Can I Do with This Major that allows for you to see some of the more commonly selected career fields, employment settings, and strategies of being successful. Very helpful. In addition, there's going to be resources that are going to then allow for you to explore career outlooks and job search engines specifically for that major area. We have the Auburn Bulletin. I realize you guys have already taken those classes, but this is helpful for you to recall exactly what courses you did take over time, to draw upon some of the knowledge areas and skill-based areas that you may be able to market in a different way. We take these classes, they take up all of our time first semester, and then we forget about them. So the more you recall exactly what it was that you did, the better your chances of being able to pivot that into something else if you need to. Occupation Outlook Handbook is going to give you some career growth rate expectations, salary ranges, degree information, if you want to do some exploration as far as what's out there and where you might be best aligned. And then candid career videos are video interviews with professionals working in around 3,000 career fields. We pay for the subscription so that you don't have to go through ads or somebody trying to sell you something. They're quick, they're 1 to 3 minutes. You can binge them easily. And they give you insights into what people do, what they like and don't like about their job, and then how you could pursue that field. So you could explore this by industry, by title, or by major to give you a clearer view of what people actually do with the majors they graduate with, all right? So some very valuable resources that you could be using without ever leaving your computer. We then have the pathway guides. Now, the pathway major guides we have just released in a new format, about a month ago. We created these guides in conjunction with the faculty and advisors in all of the colleges. We created the guides originally in paper form, so some of you may have seen these paper versions over your time at Auburn. We have now adapted them to a website, all right? And so I'm going to jump into the actual web page so that you can see this, because there's some really fun resources within it that I think could be beneficial for you. All right, so what you're seeing here is the University Career Center's webpage. Just give me a quick thumbs up if you guys can actually see this webpage that I have up here. Okay, just want to make sure that I'm not giving you different, I'm working on 2 screens and so it always throws me off. All right, so if you go to Aubie PMG or go to our helpful resources section, so Pathway Major Guide, you will see all of our major guides broken up by college. So depending on your college, you're going to be able to go in here. They're on psychology. You can go in here and get an idea of what your faculty, your advisors, and the University Career Center have suggested for you to be doing throughout your time at the school. All right, I'm assuming most of you are past that point. So instead, I'm going to focus on the bottom half here, all right? We're giving you general information about the career field. We're going to link you to some specific career options. These are linked to Occupational Outlook Handbook, which is the resource I just mentioned. That's going to give you non-biased career information that goes into everything about descriptions of what these career fields look like, the types of environments, if you need to have an advanced degree to pursue this or a license. It also is going to talk about pay scales, growth rate expectations, and then even similar professions, and then where to go for more information. So it gives you some really good non-biased, fact-based information that you can use as you're exploring what opportunities are out there. It links you directly to what can I do with this major? Again, the resource I just showed you. This is why I didn't show you each of them individually instead. Oh goodness. I apologize, guys. I don't know why it does this sometimes. Right. Let me go back to here to link it. I'm saying that I didn't update that link, so I do apologize. There's an issue with that page. Come on. So that, what can I do with this major? Right here. And the pathway guides link you directly to the ones for the majors. Of course, the one I showed you wasn't working right, so I apologize. But then this will show you the areas in which you could be working, the types of employers that hire for that. So it might open your perspective to employment opportunities that you haven't thought about before, or that you would have never considered actually working within. And then strategy, so if you need to get any kind of specific, certifications and whatnot. So some of the obvious ones and some ones that may not be quite as obvious. At the bottom, it links you directly to Occupational Outlook Handbook, so that this page, once again, for some of those options. It also links you to employment sites. And so this is helpful for you to realize is there, because there are going to be niche sites that you may not be familiar with. This will link you to candid career videos for people with the major. And so again, you can search candid career by industry or by title, but you can also search it by major to get a concept of what people are actually doing with their degrees. So they're all 1 to 3 minutes long. You're going to see a variety of different types of positions. And for each of them, it will tell you what that person majored in, if they have any additional degrees. It will tell you where they went to school. It will also show you exactly where they are. All this information links you back to Occupational Outlook Handbook again. And then it will show you related videos. So people that have similar career titles, that will give you a little bit of a different perspective of what's out there, or you may see 5 people with the same title, but it will give you additional insights into what the jobs look like, or different settings might look like. Further down, it shows your assessment results. If you did decide to take Focus 2 or Type Focus, you can align these different areas with that. And then it will also show you some live feed updates from Handshake, which I'll tell you more about in a moment, for employment settings that are actually hiring for your major. So you have access to all of this as, you know, when you're a student, but you also have access now as an alum. That could be really helpful to link you to things directly related to what you've spent so much time actually studying. So just some helpful pieces here that I want you to know exist, because most people have no clue that they're there. All right, so back into the PowerPoint. Do you guys see my PowerPoint again? PowerPoint or no?
Yes,
okay.
I can see your PowerPoint.
Perfect. I just want to make sure I'm not seeing the green bar around it right now. All right, so now talking about Handshake. Handshake is one of the tools that you guys are going to not lose any kind of access to. It is it holds a ton of resources within Handshake, and is also the way you can make appointments with them. All right. So Handshake is a database that we use to post jobs, internships, co-ops, okay? And those are going to be helpful, but there's a lot of fun things in Handshake that I want you to know are at your disposal, all right? So I'm going to jump out again to go into Handshake so you can see it from the student side. And I want to show you some of those great resources you have, and you only need to make the account. So let me go back to here. All right, so Handshake can be found on the University Career Center site. See this little tab here. Now, for Handshake, when a student logs into Handshake, they are typically going to go through this portal. However, all of you will probably want to use this Handshake credentials portal. That way you can still use the same username and password that you have used previously. If you go through this one, it automatically directs you to your OBBI link, or I'm sorry, not your OBBI link, your AU Access login system, all right? So I just want you to be aware of that. Use that Handshake credentials to be able to do that. If you have any trouble accessing Handshake, give us a call and we'll get your account worked out. It may mean that we need to link it to a different email, not a problem at all, all right? You do not need to lose access to this. Now within Handshake, you can do many, many things, including doing a job search on the home page. You can see you will actually build your profile in Handshake to allow for you to get customized feedback or customized information. When you build your Handshake, it's essentially your resume online. You can see over here, it will ask you things about I've already filled it out, that's why. It's going to ask you things like, what kind of position are you looking for? Where are you wanting to live? All right, and based on that information, you will see customized things that you might be interested in. All right, based on your searches, it will also customize some of this. So it's a useful piece. You can see how people got to where they are. Handshake is a robust tool because there are hundreds of schools across the United States using it. So the Handshake network is connecting every school that is a Handshake school. And so if an employer posts at Auburn, they can click a mouse and then it will post to all the other Handshake schools, and vice versa. So you're going to see over 10,000 jobs posted here all across the country. But you also are then going to be able to see how people got to where they are. So if you go to like the student tab, you can see students from around the country or alumni from around the country that have made their profiles public. You have to make it public for this to be seen. You can choose to alumni only, Auburn only. You can do to people who've studied something that you did, all right? And this will just allow for you to see what other people with your degree are doing or how they got there, all right? So you may see internships or jobs that they went through to get to that point that they're at right now. or specific graduate programs that may be of interest to you. And so the nice thing is you can message them directly in the system and get all that fun information that you may be interested in knowing. You can even search people by organizations. And so if you are a part of a student organization here, you can actually connect or network with people who might be of interest or who have worked at a place that you want to work. All right. So again, just some really great tools within the system that you probably are not as aware of. You can ask questions in here, and actual recruiters and people who work at individual organizations will answer it. All right. And this is around the country. So you can get some actual really good feedback without a whole lot of work. Now the job tab, of course, it's a robust job search tool, nothing too crazy about it. You can filter it however you like, but you can search by position title, also by employers that are seeking people with your major or industry. All right. So just some pieces that you can search it by. You can save your searches. I always like to show people, let me pull one up here, what it looks like when you hit apply, because that's the button that scares me on everything. I was like, what am I doing here? When you hit apply, you'll be able to select a document to send to them. You'll fill out the questions or prefer not to answer, and you'll hit number 2. If it is an apply within Handshake position, it will send them all the things that you've attached, and that's the only step of the process. If you have to apply somewhere else or fill out an application, it will direct you directly there. Now, I show this to you because I want you to realize, one, it's a 2-step process, but I also want you to see the benefit of doing it through Handshake as opposed to just going to their website. So if I were to go to, where's this, Contra Costa Community College, Pleasant Hill, California, I could easily just go to their website and apply for this position too. However, when I do that, I get mixed into the entire, bucket of people who are applying to this position at a community college or at a university. If you've ever been in the hiring process, you realize that a good chunk, usually up to 70 to 80% of them, never actually get seen by the person doing the hiring. They get screened out by HR. Now, it's important for you to know that, because that might be why you're not getting the interviews that you want, or why you've been looked over for positions. If you apply through here, of course, you still have to apply to them, that system, but they also get an email directly through Handshake with all of your application materials. So they get a chance to see you, even if they didn't see it in the original bucket of positions that were applied to. So it's a good way to stand out or to get noticed if you are applying to roles. All right, so helpful for you to see. You also have the opportunity to track it then. And so if you look over here at applications, you can see any position that you apply to and withdraw your candidacy if you're no longer interested. You can search this for employers. So you can see who has come to Auburn's campus or has posted at Auburn before. And you may even be able to get some specific contact information through here. So if you see here, public staff lists, this one doesn't have any, but they oftentimes will. That's helpful for you to have. But you also can see students that have worked there. And so you can just instantly message them to get feedback into, tell me more about your position there. How was it? And so on. Got an actual email address, phone numbers, just good things for you to know about. And you can read and write reviews for organizations in Handshake. So it kind of throws in a little bit of the Yelp or Glassdoor too. Oops, sorry about that. All fun things you can do in here. You can, of course, see events that are going on. We'll talk more about events. So you can see who's attending those events, and you're welcome to attend any of those too. And then when you click on this Career Center, this is how you will make appointments with people in our office. All right? Very quick and easy. So that's Handshake. You guys do not lose access to Handshake, but there's pieces of Handshake that are a little bit more hidden that I want you to see too. My favorite is Career Shift. Now, if you see down here, the suggestions by your university, this is where you're going to find a lot of really great pieces. Or in the Career Center piece, the Resources tab. The resources may look a little different depending on what college you were a part of at Auburn, but you'll have access to all of these no matter when or where you were here at Auburn. When it comes to Career Shift, where is Career Shift? There it is. Sorry about that. When it comes to career shift, you will need to use your Auburn email address to create the account, and then you can change it to whatever you want if you don't use that any longer. When you use career shift, you have at your fingertips a resource that not only uses grabber searches on the internet, it's scours the internet for anything with your posts. It also combines resources like LinkedIn. It has added some really cool new features. And so I want you to see this because you need to know every organization has been impacted by COVID-19 differently. By seeing here, you can see a live database by Condor.co community of a database of how employment has been impacted by COVID. When it pulls up, it will show you an alphabetized listing of employers, if they were impacted, if they were a hiring freeze, if they are currently hiring, layoffs, all right? And so you can get a real life view in live time of what's going on with employers. So you can start tailoring your search to say, well, I'm seeing they're in a hiring freeze. They may have positions out there, but if they're in a freeze, they're not hiring for them. So it may take longer, or I may just avoid doing that entirely. Or if they've done layoffs lately, you know, it's like most things, usually it's the people who are most recently hired get laid off first. And if that's the situation, you may not want to be the most recently hired in that organization. So take a look at this to give you some insights into these organizations. You also have the opportunity to search like you would any other kind of position, but they've now added a search remote and work from home jobs option, which is a really cool feature. And in the advanced search, for those of you who might be needing H-1B sponsorships, or we're here at Auburn on an F-1 visa, there is the option too to only search for companies who have sponsored H-1B visas in the past. So lots of great resources to explore on here. My favorite piece is the contact piece though, because this is how you can actually leverage your Auburn University alumni to start networking into positions based off of industry, job title, or organization. So I just want to see Auburn alum who are working in graphic design. I now have a listing of 64 people. I have their name, their organization name. I have an email address and a phone number for these people. And these are all people who went to Auburn. So I can look specifically at their details and I can see exactly how they got to where they are. And I can actually reach out directly to this person to talk to them about their position or what they're doing. So it leverages things like LinkedIn and other elements because, to be honest, I don't know where they get some of this information. I have not been able to find it online, right? But you have a phone number and an email address for somebody who could be useful to you in networking into a position or relocating to another area. So reaching out to these individuals can be helpful. You can save their information. You can also find information about their organizations quickly and easily here. So incredibly robust tool. This is our most expensive resource. So please, please, please use it. I don't want to have to get rid of it. So please use it and tell your friends that this is available to you. You can really do your entire search in here. We also have resources like Going Global if you are looking to relocate to another area of the country or internationally. Gives you some really great resources to do that, including trends, industry trends, and a job search feature. So play with that. Very robust tool. So those are all housed in Handshake, and if you have any issues getting into Handshake, you simply need to let us know, and we will get you in. All right, I'm going to leave it open to some questions so far, because I know I'm covering a lot of stuff quickly. Do we have any questions? I just covered things so well, nobody has any questions. Hi, Jacqueline, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well.
Good to see you. I have one question. You said that the Career Center help for the graduate school application materials. Can you explain more about this? You mentioned about the student want to apply for the PhD or a master degree, and can you explain more for me?
Of course. So when it comes to graduate school application planning, we will help you in understanding what programs might be best aligned with your specific goals. We will also show you alternative options for funding. Many people are not as familiar with GA, GTA, GRA, that type of thing. So we'll talk about that. We talk to students and graduates about the timeline that you need to be looking at. So when you need to be taking things like GRE or the GMAT. We help you explore your application materials, and we even review those materials for you. So we'll look over things like your personal statement, give you recommendations about who you might want to seek out for recommendation letters, and talk to you more about the format in which some of these application processes will look. And then, of course, we help with the interview prep for it as well.
Okay, but my second question is, independent of the school that the student will apply, you help, or just that you apply to here in Alba?
Oh, no, it does not matter. What I should have told you guys to begin with, too, is that we work at Auburn. Our office is connected to Auburn. We will certainly help you explore options at Auburn, but our allegiance is to helping you succeed in whatever you plan to do. So we will help you explore options past Auburn as well.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And that's important for you guys to see, because I mean, like, although we'd love for you to be at Auburn, and that's certainly an option for you. We're certainly not going to tell you not to be at Auburn, but Auburn doesn't have every program that's out there. And depending on your personal goals, it may not align with Auburn's specific options to begin with. So we're happy to help you no matter what that might be. All right, so I just showed you career, going global and career shift a little bit. Oops, sorry, just skipped right over. We have our job search guide. Now, our job search guide is something that you can access online. We haven't received our paper copies. I'd normally say you can come in and get one of our paper copies, but we haven't received them this year. Our job search guide is built by our office, published every year, and is a wealth of information about resources, step-by-step processes, how to interview, how to dress appropriately, like all that kind of fun stuff. We post it on Issue, and then we also have it in paper form typically as well. So you always have access to it. This Auvie link gets updated with the new version every year. And so as long as you know that Auvie link, the aub.ie, you will be good to go any year for the updated version. Now, of course, what most people know us for is helping you with resume writing or CVs, cover letters. I know every person in this group has written a resume at some point. I have yet to meet anybody who says that they enjoyed writing their resume. It's just not a fun thing. It's one of these living, breathing documents that constantly has to be revised, constantly needs to be updated. Most of us struggle with writing these simply because we are trained throughout everything in our lives not to brag about our accomplishments. So it's sometimes uncomfortable for us to do. We also tend to come about it the wrong way. We usually will think about, well, what did I do in that job? Let me put that on paper. When in reality, we need to think about, what is this new job wanting to see, and how can I show them I can do that? And so one of the services our office provides is assisting with, of course, giving you examples of resumes. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad. Natalie, you are the first one that I talked to. Oh, sorry, it says Natalie in the chat box, but it says Natasha on the picture. I apologize. Natasha.
We're twins, so sorry we threw you off. But we both went to Auburn and graduated in 2015, so it's not you. Natalie and I are twins.
All right. N. Walker, you are. That was great. You're the first one I have talked to that actually likes writing resumes. I enjoy reviewing them for people all day long. That's not a problem for me, but writing my own, so it's one of those lovely things that we just have to do, and we know that they're important. And if you've ever been on the side of the table that's doing the hiring, you know how important they are. And so we want to make sure that you are marketing yourself as effectively as humanly possible. And so we will look over these documents pretty much endlessly. So realize that you have a few ways of doing that. When you are in alumni status, you have access to our electronic e-resume review, which means you submit it online, and you will get back a recorded review of your resume. So that means one of our staff members will record the screen and talk over that screencast, telling you all the things that you could be doing to improve this document based off of a specific position or goal. All right. You also have the option of making an appointment. You can use this during drop-ins or appointment basis to get your resume looked at, including your cover letters looked at, or CVs, depending on what you're needing. So we're happy to look that over for you. As an Auburn alum, we want to make sure that you are making the most of that experience and that you are marketing yourself as effectively as you can. So we will look over those documents for you and have great resources on our website to help you in creating them to begin with, including a bunch of YouTube videos, by the way. Interview practice, you know, we do mock interviews all of the time. And surprisingly, since everything has kind of shifted to Zoom, this has become our #1 appointment type. Interviewing is incredibly important, and we know that that's not something that goes away. You're constantly going to be interviewing for jobs or promotions or funding opportunities or graduate schools. You need to be prepared to market yourself effectively in person or via Zoom. So we want to help you with that. You just simply make an appointment for a mock interview. We have you dress the part. You tell us what the type of position is or what it is your goal is, and we will give you feedback on the questions that you answer with us. Now, if it was in person, we would record the video, review the video with you, and give you feedback that way. Since everything is done through Zoom, we encourage you to record it. We then give you feedback so that you can replay the video and go through the feedback that we're giving you. Now, our goal is not to tell you everything you're doing wrong. It's to help you build your confidence and to make sure that you are bringing out the best parts of your experiences. And so we're going to tell you, of course, if you answered something that you probably should answer differently, but we're also going to tell you about things that you may want to expand upon and elaborate on to make sure that you are doing the best you can do there. We also want you to get all of your nerves out with us so that when it counts, you're doing great. All right. So that is something we do in person, and we also have interview streams that allows for you to practice on your own anywhere at the webcam. Pre-built questions in the program, it records your response so that you can review it and kind of get a sense of how it looks to someone else. Now, our students and our alumni have access to all of our career events forever, all right? So you guys do not ever have to call and ask. You do not ever have to worry about being turned away. You can attend any of our events at any time. So we have a part-time job fair. We have our engineering and technology career fair. We have the Auburn University career fair, education interview day, graduate school info fair, and co-op interview day. We also have our mock interview days and employer connections events. Now, some of these are probably a little bit more geared towards students, like the co-op interview day, all right? But anything else, you are welcome to attend. Typically, they're in person. Right now, they're all electronic. So we are using the same platform for all of our events across campus. You as an alum have access to all of those events. These are just the ones our office hosts. And you can find out more about each of them on Handshake. They are all being housed in what's called Career Fair Plus. You can create a profile and attend any of these events as you like from the comfort of your own home. So our next one coming up is Education Every Day, then our Auburn University Career Fair, which is tailored for all Auburn students in any major. But you also can attend any of the business ones. Liberal arts has some career days. There's a lot of opportunities across campus. Graduate school prep, like I mentioned, talking about all of those elements of preparing for that process, which can be not only time intensive, it's a big commitment to go to graduate school. So we want to make sure you've really thought it through, that it's something that will actually help with your specific goals. And then, of course, helping you gives you the best opportunity to get there with revising your statements and so on. We help students transition to life after college with a lot of great resources on our website as well. We have a cost of living calculator that helps you understand how the cost of living differs per location. And so if you are making a certain amount of money in one location and thinking about a change or moving somewhere else, you can see what that salary would mean at another location. Very helpful so that you understand fully the scope of the cost of a move. We have benefits guides, we have information on money management, professional etiquette, and then of course our salary calculator. That is really helpful for you to get a realistic view as far as what you could expect as a starting salary based off of your experience and degree. All of that is free for you to play with online. I'm hoping in the next month we will also have our first destination data up. We're working on the dashboard for that. which is showing you where our graduates are landing, what they're making, and of course, all the information as far as how many of them are going to grad school versus job, what types of jobs, that type of stuff. So all of that will be up and going very shortly. Of course, as alumni, we also want you to give back to our students, not money-wise. We want your expertise, your advice, your time. Just as you would always benefit from having a mentor or having advice of employers and professionals when you were a student, our students thrive on that. So we do have a mentorship program. We also invite our alumni to come back for our mock interview days to give feedback to students on their interviewing. All of this is stuff that we can't pay you to do it, of course, but the alumni that partake in these have reported feeling very energized and fulfilled in doing so. As you know, our students are exceptional. So anything that you would be interested in coming back and helping those students do, we're happy to help you. We want you to connect with our students. And then of course, once you are in the position, advocate for Auburn students and post jobs on Handshake. It's a free place to post positions, and we want our students to be successful. We're part of the Career Services Network, and then what that means is that there's career services offices across campus. Now, I do like it to be clear, our office works with students up to 5 years after you graduate, so our alumni are always welcome to come back and use our services. Every one of these offices has different policies on that. So if you are wanting to reach out to one of your specific college resources, they're wonderful, but they have different policies based off of the college on how long they'll work with alum. You are always able to use our services though, okay? All right, also want to show you our social media. We have a ton of tutorials and resources on our social media accounts, so take a look, including our Adulting with Addie series, which is quite funny. I may be a little biased, but it's quite funny that I'm telling people how to write envelopes and things like that. So take a look and take advantage of those opportunities too. All right, so I've just given you a whole lot of information. All of these fun resources are on our website and in Handshake, so take a look at them at your leisure. What specific questions or what specific types of assistance have you found yourself needing? And I can let you know if we can help with that.
It is just a little comment.
Sure.
I needed to send you one document in PDF.
Yes.
I watched your video. I remember that I know something I find, and thank you, helping me a lot.
It's amazing, those little things that you don't think about that are so important. So I did, an Adulting with Addie about how to save to PDF, but also how to scan from your phone. Like these little life hacks that have made a huge difference. The ease of use of things for me, at least. So I'm glad you were able to get some help from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this.
As always, I'm always happy to help. So anytime you need anything, let me know. Are there any last questions? Good point. Salary negotiations. So important. That is something that we help students with and alumni. And so if you are wanting some help with salary negotiations, I'm right now in the process of creating our tip sheet on it. However, we actually have some videos on YouTube about how to do a salary negotiation. And we have some resources on our website for that as well. But in specific situations, I encourage you to set up an appointment so that we can work with you one-on-one on making sure that you're doing exactly the best way for your specific situation. So yes, that's one of those things that I am a big proponent of, especially women in the workforce have a tendency not to negotiate as much as men, and we need to definitely be evening out that pay gap. So anything we can be doing to help with that, you let me know.
Hey, Addie, this is Natasha. I have a question kind of along the lines of what you're talking about now. So I'm actually applying to MBA programs right now. So I'm happy to hear there are so many resources. I've spent a lot of money on my own, didn't realize Auburn was available to give me some stuff. Yeah. I'm close to my 5-year mark, but I haven't hit it yet. So I'll be happily making some appointments.
Wonderful.
Thankfully, my resume and stuff looks like it probably looks better than most you'll probably get because I've done so much work so far. Are there any resources, and I'm specifically, it's Black Alumni Weekend, so I'm talking about minorities and people of color. There are different organizations that I found out about well post-grad that I think are essential resources that students, young women should be utilizing. One of them is Forte. They actually have undergraduate conferences for women in business, and I had never heard of the organization.
How do you
And the
spell
other
that
one is
one?
Consortium.
How do you spell
Forte, that's
Forte?
O-R-T-E.
Wonderful, thank you.
And so I'm right now in a fellowship program to like help me prep for MBA stuff, but I hadn't heard about it. And they do programming for undergraduate students as well. They have a finance conference that they do before students start. And I was just like surprised to see they have partnerships with like 200 universities, and Auburn's not there, and I had never heard of it. So it might be something that Career Services will connect current students and alumni with, because they provide resources kind of throughout stages of life, not just undergraduate. They also have like resources for women in business who are currently working, so like working moms and things as well. And the second resource that I learned more about is called Consortium. They have partnerships to offer full tuition fellowships that, I mean, the fellowship money is coming from the university, but I had never heard of it. And that's probably how I'm going to apply to grad school. There are like 19 universities that are partnered there, but it's just an awesome opportunity that I didn't learn about until after school. And I think we should be informing students that there are resources to get some money for graduate school that maybe they didn't think about as an option before. And those are only for like full-time 2-year MBA programs for that one. So it's kind of unique in that aspect if you're going specifically for that. So I'm really happy to hear there are more resources that I haven't utilized yet. I love Interview Stream. I've been using it to practice, and it's easy to just like send a link to friends like, hey, can you watch my interview and give me some feedback? So I've definitely been using that, but happy to hear more about some of the others, and hopefully volunteer as a mentor later too. I love that merge.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for those names too. I'll look into it. We're always looking for new partnerships and new resources that will help students. We get contacted by resources pretty regularly, but they're usually trying to sell us on something. And so hearing from somebody who's actually taken part and had a good experience with it makes such a difference. So I'll reach out to Forte especially to make sure that to look more into if we can't become a partner. Thank you. Now, I didn't show it on our website too. We do have resources on our student page for specialized help. And so one of the fun things, let me pull this up before I share it. For some of our help, here we go. Let me share the screen really quick. Where am I? Too many screens, too many screens. All right, here we go. Here we go. So we have specialized assistance on this page here. I need to update it with our new colors. So we do have some good ones. If anyone is interested in any specialized areas, and this is where we try to add some additional resources too that are beneficial to any group that we can work with. We are making great strides this year especially to be trying to target some of our overlooked groups on campus, and that's why I'm so glad to hear about additional resources that can help that as well. All right, any other questions or feedback?
It's a question. I think you mentioned about the career closer. It's closed this semester because of the COVID.
Actually, no. So the Campus Career Closet is open to students. We do have to limit it to students, but that is one that we have it open. It's by appointment only. So instead of, we usually would have it open during our drop-in system, and you could come in at any time. Instead, now we're doing appointments so that we can social distance it. And so students are still using it every day. We just remodeled, which is really exciting. And we're still getting donations all the time. So that's another way if anyone wants to give back too. We accept donations all the time so that our students have access to professional attire for free. And that is something that we are very proud of.
Well, awesome, Addie. Thank you so much for the time that you spent today on these valuable resources for our alumni, and I know they're going to take advantage of those. Again, this session has been recorded, so any of your friends that did not make it, make sure to let them know, and we'll have this up as soon as possible for everyone to view. So tonight we have the Alumni and Auburn Faculty Happy Hour. So we have about 65 Black faculty on campus, and we would love for you to come, bring your cocktails, and engage with the faculty and see all the great work that they're doing. I know some of us, especially some of our older alums, had not had the opportunity to engage or have a Black faculty member teach them in any of their classes, and so this will be a wonderful opportunity there. And then following that, we'll have the student organization leader panel that will be led by Alexis Davis. She's in student involvement. And we have some esteemed panelists to include Ada Ruth Huntley, who is the president and first Black female president of the Student Government Association. So join us tonight for all of those. The Albee links will be in your email. If you do not have those, please contact me and I will get them to you. And thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And War Eagle.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.